Give us a bit of an idea, Elly, in terms from a research point of view around what we know about the, because I think I remember in your training hearing some of the figures around the first year of parenting and the separation rates of separation and things like that, just to give us a bit of perspective, because I think it might shock people when they hear this.
Yeah, it probably will. So I'll talk about it a little bit more in the later stages. But so 92% of parents actually report increased conflict in their first year after baby. And I think you can probably already see just in those early 3 stages how that could start to happen.
Yeah.
If they're not prepared, that if they're not getting enough support, that's putting a lot of pressure on their relationship. If their expectations aren't in line with the reality, that's going to cause conflict. So everything that we talk about in these stages, all these stresses, all these pressures can cause increased conflict. And then following on from that, about 67% of couples will find that their relationship actually declines in the first 3 years after baby. So it's really common that, that new parents are really struggling in that area particularly, which can be very reassuring for parents to hear if they are struggling, that actually it's really, really normal.
Really normal, yeah.
That, all your attention and effort is going into looking after your beautiful new baby, which leaves very little over for you to look after yourselves and each other, which is actually leads nicely into our next stage, which is what I call set up base camp.
Yeah.
And so this is the stage around 4 to 6 months after the babies come, when the new normal has started to happen. The expectations have started to settle down. Couples have started to adjust. This is the opportunity for couples, now that the baby's probably started to get into some sort of routine, for them to start to really focus on, okay, we've kept the baby alive. The baby's doing well, the baby's well loved and thriving. What we now need to do is to turn our attention to ourselves and to each other, because we're in this for the long haul. And this is the stage where the cumulative effects of broken sleep and poor nutrition and stresses adding up really can start to take its toll on a couple. But it's also an opportunity for them to be mindful of this and to think, okay, we really need to turn our attention on ourselves. And so stage 4 is, I call it base camp, because there's always going to be challenges ahead. There's always going to be things for you to need to cope with, whether it's job losses, whether it's, like a grandparent gets ill, or whether it's, a global pandemic, or, there's always going to be stuff ahead that you are going to want to cope with as a family. But this stage really is about taking the time to think what helps us to cope.
Yeah. And
focusing on things, really basic things like nutrition. What's your nutrition been like for the last, 4 or 5 months? Let's pay some attention to that. What's your stress relief been like? Has it been family friendly? Or do you need to, think about some new ways of relieving stresses that are more family friendly? What's your support system been like? We've been saying all along, build up your support system, build up your support system. Now might be your chance, if you haven't done it before, to build up your support system. And it might be talking to a co-worker at work who's just had a new baby, and then you become their support system and they become your support system. It could be reaching out to some of those organisations that people may or may not have mentioned to you before now. It could be drumming up conversations with other parents at your local playground or your local cafe, other parents with a baby in a pram. It could be really reaching out now that you realise, now that you know exactly how much support you would have benefited from beforehand, and really just starting to find that tribe, to build that community, which is what I love about what you're doing, Tracy, connecting parents together.
Yeah, one of the things, Elly, that I invite people to realise at this phase, because that setting up base camp, what you're talking about there is the and really starting to exercise our capacity to resource ourselves once the shock of the changes have happened. it is really fertile ground for relationships to start to transition into a phase of maturity. The romance is gone, the novelty's gone. Or your partner's probably seen more of you than you have. I mean, all sorts of things. The mysteries disappeared. But it is fertile ground for couples to really start to invite a greater level of communication once they start to learn, which is what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
But when you've been in the trenches together, like you are when you've got a new baby, it also invites a greater level of intimacy, because when you've shared something as intensely hard as getting to know a newborn and dealing with the constancy of it, that's also can be a really bonding experience for couples.
Absolutely, which leads perfectly into what the next stage is.
There you go.
This is amazing. This is great.
I'm following you, Elly. I'm following
you are, and you've done the training, so which is embracing emotions.
Yeah.
So we bond through other people through our emotions,
and
it's easier to bond with other people who are feeling the same emotions as we are. And you know, it is such an emotional roller coaster. Pregnancy and early parenthood is an emotional roller coaster like nothing else that I've certainly ever experienced in my life, or that I've heard most of my clients experience in their life. It's, you know, the highs are higher and the lows are lower. And that's partly because parents are actually biologically primed to be emotionally sensitive.
Yeah. I love how you brought this up. I say this to pregnant women all the time, you know, when they have get frustrated about baby brain and I cry at the drop of a hat, and I say no, your intellect's being turned down and your emotional intelligence is being turned up, because when you have a new baby, it's not about thinking what your baby needs, it's about feeling what your baby needs. And there's great intelligence to those changes.
Oh, absolutely. And interesting, it's not just mums that have the hormonal changes, that men and dads have the hormonal changes too, not necessarily to the same degree, which can create some differences, but they also are being biologically primed to be sensitive to their baby's cues and to feel those emotions so that they're motivated to care for them. So it's just this really, like you said, it's a window of opportunity for couples to become bonded at a deeper level.
Yeah, right.
And when they know this, when they don't take that extra emotional sensitivity personally, because that's what can happen for some couples too, is that they can start to get defensive and start to take things personally, and that can cause conflict and can start to cause some disconnection between couples, and that relates to that 67% of couples that have less relationship satisfaction. But if we know about this emotional sensitivity, and if we know how to work with it, both within ourselves and with our partner, and invite each other in and share with each other at that deeper level, then this really can take a couple's relationship to a whole new level.
Yeah.
And the beauty of that is that a family foundations are built at a deeper level.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's